What's going on, everybody? We're back with another NFL game preview. It is now week 5, quarter pole point through the NFL season here, and some teams look a lot better than others, and some teams are looking to find an identity this week. So, let's go ahead and start with our first game this week. Let's go with one of the bigger games, Cowboys versus Packers. Packers coming off a win that they won on Thursday night against the Bears. Some key things in that game were Ty Montgomery leaving the game with a possible broken rib. Packers have been keeping it really close to the chest. First reported was a broken rib. Since then, they said it's not as serious as first thought. Devontae Adams, I believe, is in concussion protocols. He took a nasty hit from Danny Trevathan, knocking him out of the game, and they took him to a hospital during that game. In that game, Aaron Rodgers, I believe, threw for 3 or 4 touchdowns. Packers used their third running back because their top 2 running backs actually went out, and Aaron Rodgers was able to spread the ball around like he normally is, making sure that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Packers had a couple of turnovers in that game. On the defensive side, they forced a couple turnovers, got to Mike Glennon. On the flip side, the Cowboys coming off a loss that they lost against the Rams on Sunday. Very bad showing for them as they were up 24 to 16 going into the half in a game that they had strongly dominated. Special teams play ended up actually costing them in that game. Jared Goff and Todd Gurley made them pay on the defensive side, which they looked really bad on the defensive side of the ball. They lost that game 35-32. Dak could not get them down the field in time. Not in time, but he made a couple of check down throw to Zeke there at the end of the game that really cost them, as it was 4th and 10. Now looking at these two teams have met, I believe, 6 times in the last 5 years. Last year in the playoffs, and during the regular season, they went 1-1 against each other. The Packers went in the playoffs, and this is kind of turning into one of the better games, or better, I guess you can say, outer divisional rivalries here. These two teams have played each other tough. They've played each other quite a bit. Aaron Rodgers does know how to shred a defense, and this Dallas defense is not very average, tipping towards below average. They weren't able to get pressure on Goff, so that's going to be something that they're going to have to be able to find this week. Aaron Rodgers has been playing without both of his tackles, and he's still been able to win games here. So it's going to turn into DeMarcus Lawrence. David Irving gets back from suspension. Malik Collins, Tyrone Crawford, Benson Mayowa, Taco Charlton. Those guys need to find a way to get pressure on Rodgers in this game to rattle him a bit. Charlie did not play last week, and they're expecting him to play this week. Chidobe Awuzie didn't play last week, and they're expecting him to play this week. So the Cowboys are thin in the secondary, and they are actually getting torched in the secondary as well. Rod Marinelli preaches that bend but don't break in his defense. I mean, they held the Rams to 7 field goals last week. I guess that's kind of a win, but at the same time, they gave up a lot of yardage in that second half. Didn't really make any adjustments there. Looking at some key, interesting matchups here, we're going to have that Cowboys defensive line versus that Packers offensive line. Because you need to be able to get pressure on Rodgers and force him. You don't really want to force him out of the pocket. You want to keep him in the pocket, stay in your rush lanes. Yeah, it's hard because he can still pick you apart. But if you're able to hit him a bit, keep them behind on down and distance, those type of things, then you have a chance to win. You're putting yourself in position, especially if you can flip field position in your favor and keep the Packers off of the field, and you turn every possession that you can into points or into bad field position for the Packers. Jump into another matchup here is going to be Dez Bryant versus the Packers receivers. Dez Bryant finally had a good game. I know people are still questioning him, but if you look at the game, you watch the game, you see that Dez caught 5 of, I believe, 7 catchable passes. So that's positive. He had 11 targets, so Dak was inaccurate on a bunch of targets to him. They need to find a way to get clicking. Last year in this playoff game, Dez Bryant had a monster game against the Packers secondary. I kind of expect him to have another one. Packers secondary corners are especially weak. And also, if they can find a way to get Cole Beasley involved in the offensive game plan here, he has been kind of like a no-show, getting his 6, 7, 8 yards a catch. Whitson's been a no-show the last couple weeks. So those are two guys that they need to find a way to keep going. And the final matchup here is going to be Aaron Rodgers versus Rod Marinelli. Rod Marinelli is the defense coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. If Rod Marinelli is going to preach bend but don't break against Aaron Rodgers, you're pretty much giving the Packers the game here. Aaron Rodgers will tear you apart. If the Cowboys come out on that Deacon defense, which is the 3 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, 6 defensive backs, and you're just sitting there hoping that your 3 rushmen keep him in the pocket, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Aaron Rodgers will pick apart your defense. He can sit in the pocket for 10 seconds, and he will pick apart your defense. He picked them apart last year in the playoff game, and he kind of picked them apart a little bit towards the end of that regular season game that they played last year. But in the past, Rodgers has picked apart the Dallas defense until they find a way to create pressure with 4 defensive linemen and just be able to use their defensive backs. It could be a long day for the Dallas defense. So my 3 reasons why here, 3 reasons why each team will win this game. So starting with the Cowboys here, we're going to go with 3 reasons is that they'll be able to run the ball effectively like they did in the first half against the Rams and not give up on the run. If you can give Ezekiel Elliott, I'm going to say 30 carries in this game, you're going to win this game. If you give him 30 carries and he's at 120, you're going to win this game. That's going to be the main point here, is that they're able to continuously run the ball. Dak Prescott is able to pick apart the Green Bay secondary. Like I said, Green Bay secondary is not that great. It's pretty average. So if he's able to pick them apart down the field, short to intermediate, stay ahead of the chains, and he finally finds his accuracy, then they should be able to win this game. And the third reason is that they're able to get pressure on Rodgers, leading to turnovers, leading to sacks, leading to bad down and distance for the Packers and flipping field position for the Cowboys. The 3 reasons why the Packers will win: Aaron Rodgers. He goes out there and completes 27 of 35 passes for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Cowboys aren't really able to get pressure on him or force him to any turnovers here. Another reason why is the Packers defense is able to confuse Dak Prescott, and he's inaccurate as he has been. And they're able to force some turnovers here. So if they're able to do those 2 things, right now the weakest points of that Dallas offensive line is going to be left guard and right tackle right now, as those 2 positions have not looked very, very good. And they've kind of been a troubling point as they have new players working in there. And the third reason why is that the Packers are able to have some semblance of a running game. Todd Gurley had over 100 rush yards. C.J. Anderson and Jamal Charles rushed for over 100 yards as a team. Dallas rush defense has not been that great through 4 games here. They played the two games that they have won. They've held the opponent below probably 100 rush yards, but those were weak running teams, the Giants and the Cardinals. So if Ty Montgomery plays, look for him to have maybe 75 rush yards on limited touches, my guess. And my prediction for this game is the Packers are going to win this game 35-27. Just too much Packers, and I'm a Cowboys fan. Too much Packers here. Aaron Rodgers is too great of a quarterback. Cowboys defense is very, very below average. They just did not have a good showing versus the Rams and Goff and Gurley. Gurley had over 220 total yards by himself. If the Cowboys do win this game, it's going to be because they run the clock, stay ahead of the chains. Zeke has a big game, but I see Aaron Rodgers just being Aaron Rodgers and leading the Packers down the field and winning the game here. That's going to do it for me. I'm going to have 4 more videos coming out this week. This is going to be the only video for today. Thanks for watching. I'm out. Peace.